Hi everyone, I'm Dee and welcome to Dee's Yard. So you've decided that you want some privacy and you're going to plant a living fence. Well, today I'm going to break down the planting process as well as give some very important tips, including where I bought my trees from as well as how much I paid. So please subscribe to my channel to get notifications on my upcoming videos, including how to plant, maintain, set up drip irrigation, as well as updates on my own tree line that I planted less than 2 years ago. Okay, let's get into the video. Tip number 1, choose your screening plant. Now there are a ton of different screening plants and trees on the market, so you just need to find out what's best for your needs. And you can have all the same type of specimen or a mixture of many. Based on my wants and needs for my property, I chose the Thuja Green Giant arborvitae. The Green Giant is a conifer that grows into a Christmas tree shaped conical form. It can grow around 3 to 5 feet each year once established and in optimal growing conditions. And for the most part, the Green Giant is deer resistant, and I say for the most part because I have had deer nibble on my trees, but it's never been enough to severely damage them, and I've never had a deer kill any of my Green Giants. Tip number 2, find out what zone you are in. Before planting or buying any plant for that matter, make sure that your desired specimen is hardy in your zone and grows great in your area. In my case, the Green Giant is hardy in zones 5 through 8, and I'm in zone 7, which is ideal. But here I'm going to show you an easy way to find out what growing zone you are in.
Okay, the easiest way to find out what growing zone you are in is to go to Google or any other search engine and type in "what zone am I in?" The results are all going to be the same, so you can click on any of these websites. And all you need to do is simply enter in your zip code and hit go, and it will tell you what growing zone you are in.
Tip number 3, where to plant. Decide where and what privacy screening method is best for you. The two most common planting methods are single row and staggered row. Single row requires less space and less amount of trees needed. The downside to single row is your privacy screen will not be as dense as if you chose staggered row. I went with single row because I had a great amount of distance that I need to cover, and if I went with staggered row, the cost would have doubled for sure. If you have a small area and you want to ensure 100% privacy, then staggered row is probably the best option for you. Another important topic of what and where to plant is sun and shade requirements. Now, full sun is at least 6 hours of direct sun per day. Part sun is at least 4 to 6 hours of direct sun per day. If you plant a full sun specimen in the shade, it will not perform the best. My privacy hedge is in full sun from sun up to sundown. The Green Giant requires 4 to 6 hours of direct sunlight per day to perform the best. Tip number 4, spacing. Now this will be completely different based on what specimen is being used, so I'm going to keep this tip directed to the Thuja Green Giant. Green Giants get massive over time. They range between 20 to 40 feet tall and 12 to 20 feet wide. For a privacy screen, I recommend 5 to 8 feet between trees for spacing for a single row and at least 5 feet from a property line. The recommended spacing for fences is at least 7 to 8 feet, and this tree should not be planted anywhere close to the foundation of your house or a building. I planted my screen with a tree-to-tree spacing of 5 feet apart and 5 feet from the property line. Tip number 5, how many plants are needed? So in order to determine how many plants or trees are needed is to measure the entire distance with a measuring device of some type. Then subtract the spacing needed from a property line or fence on either end. After you get that number, divide that by the amount of spacing you're putting between each tree. Now I had a very large area to measure, so to make longer distances easier, I'll show you the steps I took using Google Maps.
Just a disclaimer, Google is fairly spot on with their tools, but this is just an estimation, and I would suggest you always order a few trees more just in case. All right, so for this demonstration, I'm just going to use Disney World, the Magic Kingdom Main Street. And this map view is very helpful when it comes to property lines. Like I said, Google is pretty spot on with that. But I'm going to go ahead and switch over to satellite view. And all you need to do is where you want to start your tree line is right click Scroll down to measure distance. And then wherever you want to end your tree line, you can also either left click or right click and put distance to here. And so that shows you it's about 517 feet. So all you need to do is take your calculator, put in that distance, divide it by the spacing of the trees. So let's say we're doing each tree 5 feet apart, divide it by 5. And that gives you an estimation of about 103 trees. In this case, I'd probably order 105 just to play it safe. If you wanted to continue that tree line on, we could. Let's say we want to enclose Main Street. Distance to here. Distance to here. So this is showing that we're going to have our trees come down Main Street, come over, and go back up. So that's measuring about 1,063 feet. Take our calculator again, divide it. Let's say we're going to put these trees 10 feet apart. So you need about 106 trees. I'd probably round that up to 110 trees.
Tip number 6, best time to plant. The short answer, hands down, spring or fall. The longer answer, now I planned our privacy screen in the spring, but chose not to plant until the fall. And I'm in zone 7, so if you're zone 7 or 8, I would recommend fall planting. And that's mainly just to get the roots nice and established before going into their first hot summer. But before you do that, you do want to make sure what your first frost date would be. Now, if you are in a colder zone than zone 7, then spring planting will probably be your best option. And that's strictly so your plants, their roots get nice and established before going into their first winter. Tip number 7, decide your budget and size of plant. So I ended up starting my privacy screen with very small trees, and I did that for a few reasons, but the number one reason was because of cost. The bigger the tree, the more money you're going to spend. And although I wanted that immediate privacy, I know that smaller trees that get in the ground and get established early on tend to be stronger plants. They also require less water for their first couple growing seasons, so that's also a positive. Okay, so this is a website that I bought my plants from. It is called Evergreen Plant Nursery. And I just wanted to show you this because I am very surprised. I bought my plants 2 years ago and they are the exact same price. They have not gone up. Now I'd got the Green Giant size 1 and they're still selling for $5.95 per tree, just like they were 2 years ago. Okay, so like I showed you before, I paid $5.95 per tree, so a total of $595 for 100 trees. But after tax, shipping, and a discount code I had, I paid a total of $728.74, which is around $7.28 per tree. So there is a little disclaimer though, they don't have the best customer service in reference to getting questions answered quickly, at least when I was purchasing, but I will say that I was still very happy with the end product. So I hope this video helped, and I would love it if you liked the video as well as subscribed, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!